What's up, y'all? Welcome to Carolina Takedown Talk, episode number 22. We are a North Carolina wrestling podcast that's presented to you by Carolina's Mat News. Frank Smithwick doing big things for our wrestling community. Check out any of his social media pages.
We're also brought to you by Recruiting Accelerator. If you want to wrestle in college, D1, D2, D3, JUCO, anything, hit up Tanner Sewell. All right, he's going to help you with the recruiting process. Make sure you find the perfect fit for you to wrestle in college. Now, let's get into this.
Yeah, man. Coaches' rankings dropped, right?
Yes.
Something different for this season that we've never had before in North Carolina.
I love it. Shout out to Jason Fulmore.
Yeah, man. That guy is
SEWrestle.
The dude,
Yes,
right?
he
He covers more high school wrestling in the Southeast than anyone.
He's the man.
He is the bar for our coverage that we're trying to do, too. So,
Yep.
So Jason dropped these coaches rankings. So he sent an email to all the coaches in North Carolina. If you didn't get one in your coach and you want to be included, email him. He said, reach out to him.
Yep.
Make sure you get it. It might have gone to your spam, he said. So he wants to try to get all the coaches in North Carolina to vote on all the classifications. And it doesn't have to be just the head coach. He said that it has one person on staff. So whoever you guys think is the person to do that. And
I love it because, we're kind of getting away from, the age of one guy or two people ranking the whole state. And I'd love if we could do it for individuals. That'd be cool. A lot. It's it's one of those things that kind of like an MOW kind of deal. Mm-hmm. Where the coaches come in at the end of the tournament and they put the votes in.
I think it's really cool too because. College does it, right? College football does it. They have the coaches rank.
Yeah.
And then college wrestling does it. They have the coaches rank for the individuals, and it kind of helps determine the NCAA qualifier bids and all that. So for Jason to have this idea and roll it out there and be able to manage it all, awesome. And I'm excited. The results, too, are interesting to me because the coaches are obviously the most knowledgeable people. They're the ones competing out there and seeing these teams in the offseason. So let's talk about them, Rat.
Let's do it. We're going to start up here with 4A. So I'm going to do the dual teams. Ryan's going to go over the tournament teams. 4A coming in at number 5. All right, they did rank all the way up to 10, but we're going to talk about 5 all the way up to 1. And if you want to check this out, go to SEWrestle.com, and it's on the front page. It's pretty easy to find. His site's set up awesome. But it's pretty easy to navigate. But coming in at number 5, we've got Cardinal Gibbons, powerhouse in 4A. Man, and 4A is really exciting. I don't know if it's the most exciting one this year, but it does have, I think that these top 5, I think this top 10 really is really close. I
think you could wrestle the tournament a bunch
few
of different times
and it's going to go different ways.
Shake out differently,
Yeah. I do think that in this one they've got 1 and 2 right. But number 4 we've got Huff, and number 3 we've got Pinecrest. I don't know, in my opinion. I don't know if in dual team wise, I think we could swap that if it were my opinion. But one awesome thing now is it's the coaches' opinions.
Yep.
Right. This is a statewide ranking. Not one person is going to sit here and change this, right? It's going to be whoever the coaches vote for. So I love that aspect.
Just purely based on mathematical totals voted
on. Right, but we're going to kind of give our opinions on it as well. We're going to weigh in on it because that's what we do here. And number 2, we've got Lake Norman.
Yeah.
Which revenge season is
kind
kind
of
what they are.
Redemption tour.
Yeah, redemption tour. That's what it is. That's what it is. Josh Stanley down there. He's got a solid team. Coming in with Lake Norman, and they're a good dual team. I'm super excited to have duels, this dual team aspect back, right? That hopefully we have a dual team state title this year. I missed that last year. I mean, we missed a lot from the COVID season, so hopefully everything keeps on going well, that we can, keep this and keep going the way we are. Coming in at number 1 for 4A preseason of top 10 of the dual teams, Laney High School. And 1 and 2, I really think if they duel, 10 times, I think they'd split it 5 and 5. And I think it's going to be who comes in, or just who wrestles the best that day. I mean, I think that's where it goes to. Two really solid programs, great culture behind the programs, great coaching, and some really some studs right now.
Yeah, the thing I found interesting about it is we have 2 teams from the West and 3 from the East.
Yeah.
Not saying more for either. It's as even as you can get for having a top 5, right? One's going to be 3, one's going to be 2. So just having the coaches vote on it and it ended up being more split like that was an interesting thing to me. I do think that Laney is that number 1 team right now, based on their dual lineup. Man, to me, Pinecrest is the team to watch. I feel like they are.
You think they're the dark horse?
Yeah, I mean, it's dark horse.
Dual teams?
Yeah, dark horse is dark horse can get at number 3 in the state to start off the year, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right.
But I think they're going to be a lot better this year than they were last year, and they were really good last year. So I think that to me, that's the team I'm keeping my eye on the most. So the tournament team rankings, right? So like you said, we got duels back. We got them both here to go back and forth. So coming at number 5, Mooresville. 4, Huff. 3rd, Cardinal Gibbons. 2nd is the defending state champs, Laney. And number 1, Lake Norman. So we had a flop up the top there where Lake Norman went ahead in the tournament team ranking above Laney. And the Pinecrest comes out of the top 5.
Yep.
Mooresville comes in.
Right.
Which, to me, all of those shifts kind of make sense because Lake Norman, they are going to be studs, right? They got Sakari, they got Carson Floyd, they got JT Richards, they got the Murray brothers.
Yeah.
So that
it goes on and on.
Those top 5 are all contenders, right? And then Laney's got theirs as well. And Mooresville coming in, they got the Merrimans, they got Davis
Coach
Freeze.
Ben Watson, and they've got McIntosh out there, solid coaching staff.
So they got the studs coming in. So I think, like you said, I think this, again, is very similar to the 4A dual team race, where if we wrestle this tournament 10 times,
we might have different state champ every time. Of this, I do think that Huff is still a little low. I think that Huff and Cardinal Gibbons swap here. I do think that 1A and 1B, if we're going to put it like that, because like I said, Lake Norman and Laney, I think that
they're pretty close.
I would have to see some dual team, once we get into the season, once we get into the swing of it a little bit, I'm going to look at their lineup. And I'm going to look at who they're wrestling, what weight kids are going at, and then we'll look at it head-to-head. And I think that's what we're going to look at dual team-wise. Tournament team-wise, I do think it's 1A and 1B with Lake Norman and Laney. But my personal opinion is that Huff would be above Cardinal Gibbons right now.
See, I disagree with you on that one because Cardinal Gibbons has Tyler Tracy, Luke Kuntz, Subway New. So they have those are all 3 guys.
I'm excited to see New this year.
Me too. I think it's going to be even better than last year. But those are big point scorers. And Huff has Fagerman and they have Jackson Rowland. They got a couple other guys that score points in there too. I don't know. Something about Cardinal Gibbons, I think those 3 top guaranteed.
I just think that Rogers has proved
he keeps reloading.
So. You cannot count him out. He doesn't they don't have fall off years.
No.
He just keeps on reloading. And I think that's a testament to him and his staff.
I'm excited to see that Mooresville team too because they didn't have the end of the year that they really wanted. And Lake Norman's the same way. Those wrestlebacks. No wrestlebacks kind of killed them a little bit.
And man, I can't wait.
Me either. It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait to have wrestlebacks back. And have full season.
Rhett mentioned this, but these rankings go, Jason went 10 deep, and then he also included other teams that receive votes. Yeah. If you want to see the rest of those, go to SoutheastWrestle.com, check numbers 6 through 10, and the others receiving votes out.
Right.
So let's head to 3A, Rhett.
Let's do it. So we're going to go to the dual teams again, right? Top 5. I think this one's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3A is a pretty wide open race this year.
Yeah.
But 5, we've got Pisgah. 4, we've got Union Pines. 3, we've got your boys. Okay. First off, I got a bone to pick real fast. Central Cabarrus, y'all got state rings. Didn't send this man anything. Okay.
They sent me a shirt. That was enough, boys.
Okay.
They sent me the number 1 fan shirt.
Okay.
If
he's happy, then whatever. But
when we repeat this year, we'll talk rings.
Oh, okay. So then at 2 we've got Central Academy of Technology, also known as CATA, and number 1, the 3A powerhouse, I think, of the state, Fred T. Ford.
Yeah.
And my honest opinion, these are pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I think this is where it's going to shake out.
I think it is. I'm going to be honest.
I'm surprised with Pisgah this high.
I'm not. I think Pisgah's.
You think so?
I think Pisgah's going to be
not to talk bad about Pisgah or anything.
No,
but
I think Pisgah is.
I just haven't seen them a lot.
No, I think just based on their lineup last year and seeing them at the 2A state tournament and knowing what they return, I think Pisgah's going to challenge Ford for the West title.
Okay,
I really do. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to take some heat from our man Christian Beach.
Yeah,
I don't think CATA finishes this high. At dual team wise, they have their studs that they're going to be in the thick of things to win tournament. Dual team wise, I'm not so sure. I think Union Pines and Pisgah both are going to be better than them in dual team format.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like I said, my opinion here, I do think that that Ford is going to be near the top. That's just. I mean, I think Ford's going to be at the top. Central Cabarrus, I would put them at 2 if I had to really pick this. And, no, I'm not sleeping on y'all, Central Cabarrus. I'm just saying I think Ford's solid this year. I really, Central Cabarrus and Ford are going to go 1 and 2, I think. I think that's going to be, at the Baglios, Park Shacks. I'm excited to see that team again this year. Union Pines and Pisgah, I feel like they're in the right spot. So we're going to bump up to the tournament team now, though.
So at 5, we have Fike. 4, Inca. 3, our boys, the Vikings, Central Cabarrus. And 2, CATA, led by Kyle Monteperto.
Yep.
And at number 1, the Fred T. Ford Tigers.
Yep.
All right, so I honestly, rankings-wise, this is pretty accurate to me, especially the top 3.
You like this one a little more?
I'm obviously picking Central Cabarrus to repeat. But ranking-wise, I agree that it should go Ford, CATA, and then them, as far as that goes. Now, I'll be honest, I did not expect to see Inca in the top 5. The coaches see something I didn't, or maybe Mark Harris got like 50 votes. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Mark. You're great. Your team's great. You return Grayson Harris and a bunch of other really good kids. So
Isaiah Morrison's back. He'll make some noise.
Yes, So good, and a team that you might be surprised to see in that top 5 that Rhett and I actually were talking off air.
We are not
surprised is Fike. We both think Fike's going to be in this mix of top 5. I don't think they have the studs necessarily to win the title.
I don't think they have the bullets in the gun to win the title. I don't think that they have, like you said, I don't think they have the studs. I don't think they have the hammers. But Fike always has kids that will throw you on your head.
Yep.
They have athletes that are solidly coached. I mean, coached by Bancroft, one of the best Greco coaches in the state. And like I said, they always have kids that can toss you, and they're always dangerous. But I agree. I do think that the top 3 is in the right order. I can never sleep my boys over at Inca. They're always well coached. So I'm excited for it. And then so we're gonna go to the 2A dual team, and 2A is pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited about this one. But at 5 we've got Reedsville. At 4 Newton Conover. At 3 West Lincoln. And at 2, one that I'm really, really excited about. And I've kind of slept on them, all right? But I'm waking up, all right? They are definitely climbing back into it. And that's going to be Bandies.
Yeah.
Returning to the top.
Back to the glory days.
Back to the glory days, man. Back with, Markley Morrison, Byron Sigmund, the McIntoshes, Darren Burns.
Will Gieland,
Yeah.
right?
Man.
Colt Howell.
Yep.
All those guys. I remember watching them in state tournament.
Yeah. I mean, just remember, the blonde-headed bandits.
Yeah.
But at number 1 at the top spot, Mount Pleasant.
Defending state champs.
They earned that number 1
ranking.
We did not see coming last year.
No,
we slept on Mount Pleasant last year.
Yeah, I think they've heard from me enough that they made me look not smart at the 2A state tournament for sure, and they deserve that. So after we kind of put out last episode, we talked a little bit about team races, and I didn't mention bandies. I had like 7 or 8 people DM me and say, bandies, you left off bandies.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of dug a little deeper into their roster, and I'm kind of becoming a believer.
Yeah.
But, man, I think the team to watch in the dual team rankings here in this top 5, West Lincoln.
Think so?
Yes, Bush Ross, West Lincoln. We talked about it last time. I just think they always come to wrestle at the right time, and especially dual team wise. They're always at the top of that pecking order. I think they're the one to keep the eye on. As far as like other things we see is these are pretty much the top 5 that we kind of would have thought, right, going into the year.
Right.
So, and obviously the coaches think very highly of this Bandies team coming through.
I'm really excited to see what they do. I want to see them wrestle a little bit this year before I completely jump on the Bandies.
Don't lie, Red. I see in your eyes.
Okay?
He's about to pick him to win a state title, dual and tournament team.
Here's one thing that's really cool. I grew up going to the Bandies club team. Okay, whenever I grew up in Charlotte.
There's that Rat Horde bias. It's another Inca team here.
Dude, no, all right. But I do have a tie to Bandies, and I've always been a fan. I've always wanted them to do good. And so it's awesome to see them back into the spotlight, back up into the top 2 here.
Yeah, the more good teams we have and the more exciting team races we have, the better it is, I think, for our sport in general.
But I do think that West Lincoln is always a team to watch out for. But man, Bandies, what? I might be jumping on a new bandwagon. Okay.
Yeah, he's there, guy. I see the twinkle in his eyes. He's going to pick him in dual and tournament. But speaking of tournament team rankings and Bandies, they are number 5.
They dropped to 5, which is a little interesting. But
tournament team rankings, I think they got a really complete lineup. Maybe not the super studs that are going to win you state titles.
Okay.
At least that's how I think the coaches perceived it.
Okay.
At least for now. I mean, Jason's taking more votes. I think the next one's November 27th. He's going to send it out. So if you want to get in on these coaches before then, send them an email if you didn't get it before. So that way you can make your voice heard. And after they wrestle for a little bit, they might come up, or some teams
might see them smoking.
But they are number 5 at the tournament team rankings. West Lincoln is number 4. Reedsville at 3. Newton Conover at 2. And Mount Pleasant, the defending champs, at 1, which is where they should be.
Yeah.
They have the studs. With McCreechern and Chase Creighton and Trent Allman. They got a stud. Tyler Pickard. I can't leave him out, as I love how he wrestles on his feet. Now, I will be honest, I was a little shocked seeing Newton Conover that high. They only had 3 state qualifiers last year, 2 of which graduated. So just returning 1 state placer, state qualifier, and Owen Clark, who is really good, but that's not a lot of firepower. So, but who knows? Maybe like I said, the coaches are the most knowledgeable people voting on this. That's why I like these type of rankings.
Yeah.
So they might know something about their middle school kids coming up. Reedsville, to me, is the one that's like, I want to see the most, because
led by RJ James.
RJ James and the crew, they looked phenomenal at the state tournament last year. Despite not winning a state title, they looked great, and I think they have the most room for growth, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones that have the most potential for gain as far as points go.
Then your boys down at West Lincoln.
Yeah, West Lincoln there, I think that's pretty accurate. I think they're going to do much better in duels than they are going to be at a tournament team.
Yeah, okay. And like we said, y'all can see the top 10 on here, and also the teams that received votes on SEWrestle.com. So now down to 1A. And I think we're both going to agree on this.
Yes, yeah.
This is the who's running for second.
Yeah.
It's who's going to be there at runner-up. At 5, we've got Rosewood, 1A powerhouse. 4, we've got URA Charter, right? 3, we've got Mount Airy.
Yep.
Which I like them there.
Me too.
I honestly agree with this top 5.
Me too.
I think it's perfectly in order.
I agree.
I'm excited to see Rosewood. URA Charter, everyone's still, sleeping on them. And, we do catch a little bit of flack for how much we kind of say that Avery is up there so much, but they just keep on proving it.
Yeah.
It's tough to go against them. It's tough to pick anyone else.
When the past 2 years have been what they have.
Yeah.
Right?
And what they continue to have. But at 2, Todd Odom and the Black Knights up in Robbinsville, okay? Yep. Coming in at 2. And like I said, I like them there. I do think that runner-up is going to be a race between Mount Airy and Robbinsville. I would love to see them duel this year. That'd be an awesome dual meet. I think that Robbinsville has got a few more bullets in the gun. They've got a few more hammers that I think they take that.
Yeah.
I think that they pull away with that.
So,
and then number 1, the Vikings, Avery County High School.
Yeah, man. So, and they're more vulnerable, I would say, in this format, right? In a dual format, they are more vulnerable than they are in a tournament format.
Mm-hmm.
Tournament format, no one else has got a chance, in my opinion. But
I don't think
dual format, Robbinsville's got a shot. If things go their way, Robbinsville's got a shot. Does Mount Airy have a shot? Maybe, but a lot of things.
It's got to go perfect.
A lot of things got to go their way, and I feel the same way. Does your Charter have a shot in a dual team format? Yeah, but a lot of things got to go their way.
Yeah.
Rosewood the same way.
Yeah.
So when I look at these, I really think Avery County won for sure. Because they can have a couple things go wrong and still win the title. Robbinsville's a for sure number 2.
Still win it heftily, I feel like.
Robbinsville's should for sure number 2. And that's probably going to be your state semi or state quarter, depending, because they're going to have to meet in the West bracket, right? Yeah. And then 3, 4, 5 with Mount Airy, UR Charter, Rosewood. I like that order, but I wouldn't be mad if I saw it flip the other way, like UR Charter in at number 3, Rosewood at 4, Mount Airy at 5.
I do think that those could swap out pretty easily.
I feel like those are the kind of dual matches you wrestle. It's like a 35-32 and one close decision went one way versus the other. So
one leader went up and got that major.
Yes,
went up and got those bonus.
So those 3 I could see in any order, and I could see any of those 3 picking Robbinsville off if they get a couple of things go, like upset here, upset there kind of deal. I still think any of them have to have something go really their way to beat Avery.
Right.
But like I said, they're more vulnerable in this state. Don't see it, but I could see URA Charter up there at 3 and Rosewood. I could see Rosewood up at 3 as well. That 3, 4, 5. I'm fine with any of the order.
Right.
So, but I think the coaches see what we see as far as Avery being ahead. And then speaking of Avery being ahead, here's the tournament team rankings. It's 5 is Rosewood, 4 URA Charter, 3 Mount Airy, 2 Robbinsville, Avery County at number 1. If that sounded really repetitive, it was. It's the same exact order, which I think is the way it should be. I think this is a little more defined as far as I bet you if you look at returning team points, this is the exact order. Which that's pretty awesome that the coaches were able to kind of nail that. I know for a fact Robbinsville, the top 3 is definitely the returning points order. 4 or 5 would have to go back and double check and see if that's flipped or if that's correct. But Avery County is going to be they're 50 points ahead of everybody as far as returning team points go. And then Robbinsville, and I think the coaches might have listened to me too. I don't know. On the last episode, I said Mount Airy is the team to watch that no one's talking about.
Yeah.
They're in that thing.
They're talking about them now.
I think if Robbinsville missteps at the state tournament, a couple of their guys don't repeat that are state champs, then Mount Airy could kind of slide ahead of them.
Right.
I don't foresee that, but Mount Airy to me is the team to watch. And then, Robbinsville, I think you said on the last episode, it's kind of like Mount Airy or Avery's on their own tier, Robbinsville's on their own tier, and then it's kind of everyone else type deal.
I think so. I think 1A shakes out exactly like this.
And I know a lot of people are like, you are a charter, like the UR Charter contingent, which I appreciate their passion right there. At least I don't mind the flack that they throw our way or even Jason's way. At least they're paying attention and passionate about what's going on. But I just, in a tournament format, I don't see them getting anywhere close just because who are their studs that are going to get those big point titles,
I mean, and when you look at it, when you look at them and then you look at Avery's lineup, Doug Bowles, Grayson Roberts, Brian Lackey. These are just state placers that they've had.
Those guys
that are returning, and that's it.
Yeah.
If we talk about Avery, we can go, Ben Jordan.
Well, speaking of, let's jump into it.
Yes, let's do it.
Man, that's a good transition right into the 1A title contenders. You guys know, I like duels. Duels are great. I like duels more so for the individual matchups more than anything.
Yeah.
State tournament, regional tournament, where we get all these best kids together. Holy Angels, Tiger Classic. That's what gets me fired up.
And we get a full season.
Yes. So 1A title contenders individually for each weight. Now, I want to go ahead and preface this. This is kind of a guesswork. We said this last year, right? When we did this, or I guess it wasn't a year ago because the season was supposed to
start. Right, a few months ago.
But when the season started last season, we said, man, some of these weights we're guessing whether they're going to be there or not. Some of them are based off of where they were at Super 32, which can kind of...
That can always change
because
some kids might be playing football. They might just be not cutting because it's off season.
Yeah, and it's the day before weigh-in, so they might be going down a weight and then come up.
Yeah, whichever way.
But let's start at the top. 106. I think the favorite coming back, he wrestled 106 at Super 32. I don't really know how big he is Jason Kennedy.
Yeah.
Runner-up last year from Rosewood. Just a sophomore. He had the win over Heaven Fitch that kind of
put him on the map.
He beat Reagan Riddick last year as well. Lost to Luke Wilson of Robbinsville in the finals last year. He's the top title contender. If he's at 106, he's the man to beat.
Now, if he's not, though, I'm saying it's Hope Haran.
I would say Haran.
Haran. Okay. If we're wrong on that, Hope, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay. Or any Mount Airy coaches, we want to make sure that we get all of your names right. Returning placer at fourth, or fourth.
If Kennedy moves up,
if Kennedy's not there, I think Haran wins it.
She's the only returning place winner.
Yeah.
Because Fitch and Wilson graduated.
The way it looks right now, that's where I'd go. 113 though, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's good.
This is a good little weight for 1A. Leading it, somebody we haven't talked about from South Davidson.
Yes.
I mean, school we haven't talked about.
Yes,
that's South Davidson.
It's still school we probably should talk about because they do have I was putting this together.
They've got some good kids.
They've got some really good kids.
But I just want to see how they wrestle a little bit before we kind of jump onto that bandwagon, that hype train, whatever. But this is not a hype train around this kid.
No.
Tristan Hale, state qualifier, returning state champ. But he's got a tough one with the sophomore right behind him from Avery County. Runner-up, Ben Jordan.
Yeah, Ben Jordan, man.
And this is if they're both at 113.
And they met in the state finals last year, and Hale kind of won comfortably, right? Yeah. So, but you know as well as I do, in that Avery room.
Anybody in that Avery room or around that Dogtown room.
So the gap could close. I still think Hale's the favorite, but it wouldn't be surprising to see Jordan close that gap. And then Hunter Flupp from North Stokes, third 2 years in a row. So he's going to be
Fulp or Flupp?
Fulp.
I think it's Fulp. There we go. Yeah, Fulp.
But for North Stokes, he got third twice in a row, so he's right at the top. He's going to be in that. I don't know if he'll be at 13 or if he's going to move up to 20.
Senior, can he break through and
win a title?
And win that? Can he break through that semifinal round?
He could be. He might be an upset potential on Jordan, maybe if they're on the same side. But
I don't know if anybody touches.
I don't know if. I think we're gonna.
If Kennedy goes up to 13, who do you take, Hale and Kennedy?
I'm gonna take Hale.
I agree.
I think I'll take Jordan over Kennedy as well.
Okay.
If they all are.
So you think the right move for Kennedy is stay at 106?
I think if he can make it, he should go 106.
Okay, got it.
Let's make it safely.
Yeah. Let's go up to 120.
Yeah, let's step up to 120. So we got Logan Portrell from Rosewood. So Rosewood, right here in the front half of their lineup, is going to have some super studs, right?
Yeah.
And he, returning state champ, didn't have really a close match, if I remember correctly, at the state tournament last year. Looked really good. He's been in a couple preseason stuff at 120, so it makes me think he's going to be back down here at this weight. I would like to see if Hale moves up, him versus Hale. That'd be fun. I kind of think we're going to see them both back at their weights from last year, though.
Yeah.
But I think Torchel's the heavy favorite with Ricardo Bustos from Albemarle, who's a 2-time third placer, and Brandon Rupp from Rosman, who's a 2-time fourth placer. Kind of, those are the guys that are going to fight for that state finals.
Torchel's on that.
I think he's
on a different level,
different tier from the rest of the bracket.
I agree.
For sure.
I agree. I think that one's almost a closed book.
Yeah.
And look, we're only talking about really returning placers here.
Yeah.
There could be freshmen popping in, and there will be.
Yes.
Especially from 106 to 126, right? I think 132 where it gets a little bit tougher.
I mean,
as a freshman,
look at some of the guys we've mentioned already. Like we did not say Jason Kennedy's name till almost the regional tournament last
year. Until he
knocked
off Evan Fitch.
Or this next kid at 126, Grant Reese, who was a freshman from Avery last year, so sophomore in Avery this year. We didn't mention his name until near the end of the season, and definitely not in the title contenders one in the beginning. So there's going to be freshmen that enter this pack, or even sophomore, junior, senior guys.
Guys are going to make jumps. And but like you said, we're going to move up to 126. Grant Reese.
Yeah, I think
Avery County. 120 was a weird one. We didn't have Avery County. 106, no Avery County there.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at dual teams there, that might be kind of some weaknesses, some chinks in that armor, maybe.
Maybe. Or do they have some Grant Reeses and Ben Jordans entering the lineup again?
That's the thing. That's what no one knows until we see it.
So,
but Grant Reese, defending state runner-up.
Yeah, lost to Torchel last year in the finals.
Lost to Torchel, and then from Mount Airy, Alex Cox, returning third place. And then from a team that I'm really excited to see them coming back, rise in the ranks again.
Yep.
Love their coaching staff. For Bryson Church from Allegheny, state qualifier, fourth place finish.
Yeah.
And we're going sophomore, junior, senior here. And so, but like we talked about, I think Reese is one of those kids, again, that's on another level. With these three in 126, I think he's up here, and I don't know how. I think Cox could close that gap, but I'd want
right now.
Let's go see it.
I think Reese is like a point or two better than Cox.
Okay.
Like it's like a
tight match.
It's like a 4-2-3-2 thing type deal. Maybe like a 2-2 tie going in the third. Reese goes down, gets an escape type deal. And that's how the match ends. I think it's that close. So. I think Cox is right there on his heels. I think those two are kind of just a step above where Church is at currently, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this order kind of flip-flopping a little bit throughout the year because they're all in the West, too, so they're going to see each other.
Yeah, they're going to see each other. 132 might
We might get the best matchup of 1A here.
Yeah,
but I'm going to caveat that with I don't think we'll see it. But we have Ethan Shell from Avery County. I don't think anybody we don't need to introduce him anymore. Like 3-time state finalist, 2-time state champ.
Now signed.
All right. And then we got
John Mark is bringing his Avery boys.
Yeah, he is. He's
just keeping them. He's stingy. He's stingy. He's keeping them.
John Mark was like, all right, boys, you from Avery.
You're not going anywhere else.
You're from Avery.
Especially that
you come to App. And
especially this heavyweight that we're going to talk to.
Yes, sir.
This heavyweight we're going to talk about here in a little while. But, we'll keep on going.
But so we got Ethan Shell, but then we have one of the most impressive kids last year at that state tournament, Jade Noel from Robbinsville, who was a runner-up as a freshman, fourth sophomore last year, won as a junior, and then Brian Lackey from UR Charter, who was a fourth-place finisher last year. Now, if we get Shell and Noel in the same weight, that is going to be the most anticipated matchup of 1A,
period.
And we're going to get a few times, right? They'll meet in a duel. Yeah. They'll probably maybe see each other.
They'll go to each other's tournaments. They'll go to. I think they're both signed up to go to Inca Duels this year.
So we're going to get it a few times.
And I think we could see Avery Robbinsville at Inca Duels this year.
Yeah,
that would be a solid matchup.
We might have to go to that.
Harris, why don't we just make that happen? All right, let's just go and put them in the same pool there.
Yeah, just make them wrestle each other first.
Yeah,
that happens
let's just see them scrap.
But I personally, I know they were both at 132 for Super 32. I think Noel stays at 32. I think Shell's going to go up for the year and go up to 138. That's just kind of my gut feeling. I might not have. I mean, Shell might be at 32. I just kind of see him being why cut weight when he doesn't have to, when he can run through the 138 bracket? And maybe it's better for the team, though. So who knows?
Right.
If that match goes down, I think Shell's a favorite. I think Noel's great, and he's a stud, but I think Shell's the favorite for sure.
Right.
And if Shell goes up, I think Noel runs away with this weight, like he did last year. Where he's just
I think either one of them, if either one of them go up, or
yes, I think
if they're not in the same bracket, the other one runs away with it.
I hope we do, because I love state champ, elite kid versus elite kid matchup, but I don't know. I think they're going to split apart. Stepping up to 138.
I mean, and that's one of our storylines that we had that you can also find on Southeast Wrestling. We're gonna talk about a few of these along with the with the title contenders. But and so for this episode we're doing 1A-2A like we said, but Ethan Shell, top dog, and
top dog. I wrote Ethan Shell is the top dog in Dogtown.
Yeah.
And he just continues to impress me with his progression. I was a little surprised with the Aldo Hernandez loss, to be honest. In the offseason here, he did
Aldo Hernandez
looking good. We'll talk about him on the next episode.
Okay? Don't get me going on that one because he's a stud.
I put in here. There's little doubt he walks away with his third state title, and I preface that with I don't think him and Noel are going to be in the same bracket.
Okay.
So. He's the top dog. I mean, Christian Beach told us straight up he thought he was the best kid in that room. So
right. So up to 138 here.
If Shell's there, he's running through that.
Yeah. I think if Noel or Shell, go to 138, they win it and no one touches them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they major their way through the state tournament, maybe even fall their way through the state tournament.
I think Noel pinned or teched his way through last year. Yeah. And so did Shell the past 2 years.
Right. And so. But as of right now, the only returning state placer from Mount Airy, from East Wilkes. Sorry, I jumped. I got confused on weight class there. From East Wilkes, Cole Lambert, senior, took fourth last year.
So I think this is kind of like the weight where what you said is going to happen, right? If Shell and Noel stay down, I think we're going to see some seniors kind of like, or freshmen or whatever. Yeah. Some guys we're not talking about emerge and become kind of the guy of this weight. And it might be Lambert or it might be somebody else from another team. A kid from a Mount Airy, a kid from another Avery kid.
Could be a freshman.
Or you are a charter kid kind of gets inserted in the lineup. Yeah. One of those powerhouse programs is going to have somebody step up in this weight, I think.
So really fast, back to 132. I'm going to throw a dual team question at you. Because I think we're going to see this duel. Whether it would be... I think we're going to see it 3 or 4 times this year.
Yes, yeah.
And I think, really, we're going to see it the last time in Greensboro for a state title for 1A. I think we'll see Avery and Robbinsville wrestling for a state title. Do you think they let them wrestle that out? Or do you think they bump away and both pick up the...
I think it depends. I think it depends on who they have above. Does
how 138 and 145 kind of falls out for them.
Yeah, if they look ahead at 138, and let's just say Avery, right? Avery has a kid that emerges at 138, and he's good enough to get the win over the 138 from Robbinsville. Then it makes more sense for Shell to take those points away from Noel, right? Yeah. And then the 138.
Now, do you think in that instance Robbinsville wouldn't bump
Noel
up to 138?
I think if...
Do you think they could both... I think that kind of goes...
It's
a strategic one.
Yeah, which is part of the reason I don't like duels as much, because I just want to see the matchup, right?
Yeah.
But I get why coaches do that. The bumping around game. And I don't think either one of these coaches are good examples of this, because Avery and Robbinsville wrestle everywhere, right? I mean, Robbinsville...
We're not saying that either one of them
would. We think that just strategy-wise would make most sense.
Both teams are not afraid to wrestle.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid to put their best guy against
my gut tells me that Todd Odom, just knowing Todd and seeing that he would, number one, want that matchup for Jaden.
Yeah.
Because the more cracks you get at a guy, the better chance you got at the Greensboro State Tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same way, Avery probably feels the same way, right, for Ethan Shell. The more cracks you get at a guy. So they'll probably want that matchup. And
if they're both at 132.
If they're both the same weight, they'll probably roll it.
Now, that whole conversation nullifies if one of them bumps or whatever.
Which is what I predict will happen.
Okay. So we're going to go up to 145.
Yeah, 145, we got returning state champ. He didn't win it last year. He got fourth. But from Mount Airy, Franklin Bennett won it as a sophomore, got fourth last year as a junior. He's the only returning state placer at this weight. I think that he's going to be a very, very heavy favorite, which is another reason why Mount Airy is kind of entering this conversation of a top 3 team, right? I think he runs away. I think he's back at 45 because his teammate Medvar seems to be still at 52. Yeah. So lineup-wise, I think that makes the most sense for them. But we'll see. And speaking of Medvar, stepping up to 152, he's the favorite.
Murder's row in this way.
Yeah, you got all the placers are back here, right?
Yeah.
So you got Medvar from Mount Airy,
defending state champ.
You got Tristan Adams from Avery County, runner-up last year. The only person to hold Medvar to a decision really at the 1A level.
Yeah.
Grayson Roberts, who is just a junior, has already placed at the state tournament twice. Third both times. Third as a freshman, third as a sophomore from UR Charter. Mm-hmm. He's one of their studs. And then South Stanley's Michael Gabbard, who got fourth last year. So this is a good weight. If they all come back and are back at this weight,
that could be one of the best weights.
That's probably the best weight of 1A.
The most loaded
as
weight
far as
in
depth
1A
goes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Medvar is still a step ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
Tristan Adams, I talked about him as like my dark horse going into last year. Not a dark horse anymore. Made a state finals, but he's been impressive as well. I think they're going to run it back. I think it's going to be those two in the state finals again, and I probably Medvar by 3-4 points, something like that.
And 160. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3 again here.
Yep.
Bradley Parker, Avery County. Runner-up, defending state champ.
Yep.
Really fast with that. NCHSAA for the Greensboro State Tournament this year. Please, every time a state champion walks on the mat, let's announce it. Let's give these kids their credit that is due. It's not a small feat to make a state finals or to win a state title. Even more so. Let's give these returners their credit.
I think right away, round 1.
I love it. It's just because it's a different atmosphere whenever they hit those semis, and you start hearing
semis are my favorite.
Now
round.
wrestling on mat 2, defending state champion Bradley Parker, Avery County. It's just the whole place changes, man. It gets
eyes just go.
Yeah, they snap over.
I think
they start looking at
it builds a better fan experience for those couple rounds.
Yeah, it does. And I know it would take a little bit more effort, but just put one person onto it, hand them the mic, and say,
"I'll do it.
Here's the bracket.
Give me the mic. I'll do it.
There we go. There it is. All right, but sorry. Back to 160. So we got Bradley Parker from Avery, defending state champ. We got Doug Bowles from UR Charter, who went third and then runner-up. Yep. And we've got Chase Miller from Cherryville, took third.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3 back. I think maybe does Bowles or Miller move up? I think Parker is going to be back at 60 based off. I did look at Avery County's roster on Trek Wrestling, and weight-wise, it kind of looks like that. It's always hard to tell.
Right.
But I think Parker's the favorite. He won comfortably against Bowles in the finals, right? Or maybe it was ultimate tie, but maybe it was close. Man, I'm kind of having a glitch moment on that one. But I think Parker wins again, is what I'm saying. I think he, in that room, getting pushed. I think Bowles is definitely the favorite to be in the finals. Would it surprise me to go the opposite way? Probably not, but I'm not going to pick it. I'll take Parker to repeat.
Yeah, 100%. But then bumping up to 170 here. From Avery again.
Yeah,
it's pretty repetitive. But this kid's a stud. And wrestled some really good kids last year, right? Wrestled some really tough guys, especially in a condensed season, right? He was kind of thrown through the ringer. but returning state champ, and then returning
one is a freshman.
Yeah, freshman state champ, sophomore runner-up.
And if you remember, I remember we were looking at how that match went. So we didn't have video. We were looking at the tracker, and he was up at the time of the fall. Yeah. So he was winning the match before he got pinned. Still don't know how that match materialized per se. But
which is another reason I can't wait to be in the Coliseum, because we're going to get to see every single
eyeballs
match.
on all of them, right?
Yep.
But he's, returning state champ, 2-time finalist. There's no reason to pick against him, especially with the makeup of the weight. Now, does Bowles or Miller come up?
He beats both of them.
I think he wins against either. I think Bowles is a very challenging matchup, but I'll take Blackledge right now.
Yeah, 100%.
And speaking of Bowles, that Parker-Bowles match was a 8-4 decision. I had to go look it up. I couldn't stand it. So it was an 8-4 decision. He won comfortably. I think it's a very similar outcome again.
Okay. 182.
And this is interesting.
One of Robbinsville. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because we're flipping here. 182 was Cage Williams last year for Robbinsville.
Yep.
Fink coming down. If Fink wins again this year, he's going to win his state title, his senior state title, down a weight from his sophomore and junior ones, and down 2 weights from his runner-up finish as a freshman at 220.
Yeah.
He's going backwards, guys. He's not growing weights. He's slimming down, getting chiseled, I guess, and is the way he's doing it.
Yeah.
But kind of crazy he's going to go 220, 195, 182.
Freshman runner-up, defending 2-time state champ.
He's having a legendary career, kind of quietly. I don't feel like a whole lot of people besides us here or Todd Odom, and Todd doesn't even talk about him as much as like getting his name out there all the time. Todd kind of lets his boys do the talking, right? He isn't out there like yelling out their names all the time.
I think Robbinsville's already saying this year they want the smoke again.
Oh yeah, they do. Right? They want it bad.
They want it.
I think they've heard us talk Avery, and I think all the Robbinsville boys are motivated.
They probably are.
But Fink heavy favorite here, right?
100%.
I mean, even coming down a weight, like
the only guy that's even close to him is going to be Eli Becker from East Surrey. Took 3rd, and I just don't know. I don't know if he has the firepower to beat Fink. But as we get into 182 here. 195, 220, 285, right? This is Robbinsville's murder's row.
Yeah, this is
where they win.
Makers, right?
This is this is their studs. This is their, the money in the bank. Robbinsville also has 5 state champions returning.
Yes.
Okay? Which is insane. I think that just shows how good Avery is.
Yes.
Robbinsville has 5 state champs coming back. Yeah. And they're still not picked to win state. They're still not favored to win a state.
Yeah, they're 5 state champs, and they're not favored to win, right? That's wild. Yeah. With Wachicha, Fink, and Ansley. Both Finks, right?
Yes, both Finks. Which I think Ainsley could really make some noise.
Yeah, that's the name we didn't mention at 106.
I think she could make some noise.
If Kennedy moves up to 13...
I think we could have all girls.
Yeah, all girls state final.
I think we could have a all girls state final in the boys state championship.
That'd be
Fink
cool.
And Haran. And I can't believe I don't know how we missed Fink there.
Yeah.
But Ainsley, she is a monster. I love watching her wrestle. But we've got both Finks, Ainsley and Kyle, Jaden Newell, Ben Wachicha, and your boy going up to 195. I'll let you take it away. He has led the train, the hype train. It is no longer a hype train. No, it's just it's the Cage Williams train.
Cage Williams. Yes. Man, I said this. So in the storylines, I said this. I said we have Kyle Fink, who is a state runner-up, 2-time state champ, about to cap a legendary career this year, no matter what happens, right?
100%.
Ethan Shell, same thing, 3-time finalist, 2-time champ. About to cap a legendary career.
We have a 4-timer.
We have a potential 4-timer.
A possible 4. Yeah, I don't want to put the...
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty heavy favorite. So, Levi Andrews. And I will take the best wrestler in 1A is Cage Williams over all those guys. Cage Williams is the best wrestler in 1A right now. All college coaches should be putting the full court press already on this sophomore, man. I mean, he bonused his way through the state tournament last year, bonused his way through the year. Yeah, this kid's only going to get better. He's an athlete. I've seen some football footage recently. Kid's a stud there, too, so he's athletic.
Yeah.
But the way he wrestles, best wrestler in 1A, Cage Williams, he's going to win this weight running away again.
Yeah. The only guy that's even close to him that isn't even close to him, sorry, but Malik Bryant from North Stanley.
Yes.
State qualifier and then runner-up last year. That's how it's going to finish.
Yeah, I'll pick Williams to bonus.
Cage could win 182, 195, 220.
Yes,
and I'd love to see him wrestle Levi
Andrews. I'm excited
Andrews.
for a regular season this year because I want to see Cage Williams versus I want to see him versus Caleb Beatty from Wake Forest, defending state champ.
Yeah, I want to see him.
4A. I want to see that match pretty bad.
And that's one thing that you're right. That's what we get to see again this year is
some mixing more of classifications.
Yes, we get to see 1A state champs wrestle 4A state champs again, right? Or 2A.
Yeah,
and 3A.
It didn't happen as much.
Finally get to see it again with these
focus on their conference duels and then stay within.
And they were limited.
Yeah, we had to stay in their geographic area for the most part. And stuff like that. So Cage Williams 195. State champ. Book it.
Next topic.
220. Speaking of Robbinsville, right? You mentioned Wachicha. Ben, he's back. I think him and Vance are going to run it back. Zach Vance of Avery County, runner-up last year. And then we have Lennon from Mount Airy who got 4th, right? So kind of ironic. It's Robbinsville, Avery, Mount Airy, right? The teams we continually are talking about right now are at this way. I think we run this back. Now, I think this could go either way. Vance beat him during the season, and Wachicha beat him when it mattered the most, right? Mm-hmm. But I could see this flipping back and forth.
Here's the thing, they both have solid workout partners.
Yeah, so...
I mean, Wachicha's got to be going with Cage, and probably Fink. That's probably their group. But then at the other side, Avery, Vance is going with Levi Andrews every time. And to bump up to 285... we could have a 4-timer again this year.
Yeah, after not having one for a decade,
we could have another one.
We could have 2 more this year with Levi Andrews and Montperto.
Right, but in 1A, we could have
a second straight year. Yeah, he'll be the heaviest 4-time state champ.
That is nothing small.
It was Chris Bullins.
Yep.
Because he went 160, 160, 170, 160, something like that.
For McMichael.
And then it was... Yeah, for McMichael.
Yeah.
And then Landon 4 last year going 170, 182, 182, 182.
Yeah.
And then this year, Levi Andrews 220, 220, 285, 285. He won his first state title over Kyle Fink, right? They met, that state final is still wild to me that 2 freshmen met at 220 in the state finals.
It's insane.
When I saw that happening, I was losing my mind that it occurred. But
I'm picking Levi here.
Yeah, he's a heavy favorite. App commit.
App sign.
Way to go, John Mark.
App sign.
App signee. Right?
Thank
you, John Mark.
He's not just committed anymore.
In state.
And I think that's one of the biggest storylines of the year is the heavyweight going for his 4th. I mean, I think that's got to be one of the coolest things in 1A going on. I can't wait to see that. But behind him, so we've got Carlos Andrews from Robbinsville. Took 3rd.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to butcher this. Naquan Carpenter from Albemarle. I probably just butchered that. No. And if you are listening, Carpenter, shoot us a DM and let us know how we pronounce that. Along with anyone else that we mess up your name, please. We want to get this right. We are doing this to give you all the credit that you deserve. Y'all work your butts off in the room every single day for 4 years, and a lot of times a lot more than 4 years. So we want to make sure you guys get the correct credit, and that also includes saying your name correctly. So please, if we butcher your name, let us know.
And we'll try to get correct. No promises.
Yeah.
we still might mess it up, but we're going to try our best.
But that weight, man, I see it shaking out like that. Andrews takes second.
I bet he bonuses his way again.
Yeah, I could say he pins his way through. Yeah. Man, it's insane. 1A is going to be fun. It's Avery's turn. It's Avery's title to lose.
Yes,
and it's Robbinsville's title to take.
Yeah,
and I think that's the storyline this year for 1A. I think that's the team race. Can Mount Airy sneak in? Right? Can they put it all together? Can Can they, do they have the horses in the stable, right? Do they have it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But Robbinsville, after looking at this, the way it shakes out in a lot of things,
they got the studs too, right?
Dual team, I think I think that could be tough.
Yeah.
And we're going to see it a few times this year, which is really exciting. Avery's tournament to lose, or Avery's title to lose this year.
I said, they're more
Todd Odom and the boys in Robbinsville. It's their title to take.
Avery is more vulnerable in a dual format, right? They're more vulnerable in that dual format than they are in the tournament. Tournament team wise, they got some studs where Robbinsville's not going to have those points,
right?
Like where at
170,
170,
160,
all those
152.
That's gonna be hard for them to get. But at a dual
126.
Format, if they can hold some of those to decisions and turn some of those
hold for three,
turn some of those
Kyle
top
Fink gets a pin,
Cage gets a win. I don't know. They could be in it.
You're right, but. We're going to jump up 2A now.
Yeah, man. With Mount Pleasant, defending state champs. And speaking of,
Mount Pleasant.
If their boy Trent Allman stays down at 106, he's a state placer last year at 4th. He beat Reagan Riddick in the quarters in one of the, not upsets, but I would think most people were picking her at that point. So he will be the only returning state placer at this weight with, I think, RJ James is for sure going up, and Mahia moving to 3A, and then but a couple guys, if they stay down now, the 106 is the trickiest weight. I feel like it's just like they're gonna stay. I don't know. They could bump a couple of weights because 106 is tiny.
Yeah.
But Jared Thomas from Moorhead, he was really impressive last year at the state tournament. He didn't place, but with the no wrestleback situation, I think he would have placed in that 5th, 6th range.
Yeah. And we do have a little bit more information on 2A because Ryan was at the 2A state tournament last year.
I was there to see some of these kids, but
as we said, as everyone knows that followed North Carolina Wrestling last year, we didn't get to have state tournament in the same building due to COVID. But we do have a little bit more information here. So we are going to talk about a few more kids that aren't just returning state placers.
Yeah.
And all of our title contenders, we're going to do multiple throughout the year as it shakes out and, upset alerts and things like that. So we're going to get more information as we go this year.
Yeah, and I tried to, with the reclassification, I tried to move some kids in and move some kids. I moved kids out that are moving up to 3A and tried to move some kids in that are moving down. Inevitably, I'm sure I missed a team or two with the shuffling. So if I missed somebody, shoot us a message.
Right.
But Jared Thomas looked really good at state tournament last year, and so did Riley Shaw of West Wilkes. So I think they honestly are right in the mix with Almond, right? I think it's not like Almond's a tier above.
He's not running away with anything.
Yeah, like if the three of these guys are back down at 106, it's a dogfight. And then, as you said, at 1A, we could see some guys enter the mix here, especially at 106. Those freshmen come in. Yeah. We'll see who can enter the picture, right?
100%. And 113, if he's there.
Yes.
But I personally think wherever he goes, he wins.
You think so?
I think he beats Holland from Wilkes Central.
Oh, man.
So, but 113.
I thought about that matchup a lot.
RJ James from Reedsville. Returning runner-up, I think if he goes 13 or 20, he's state champ this year.
So, RJ James, one of my favorite wrestlers. I love watching him on his feet. Super slick. Now, he did wrestle 120 off-season tournament. The Honey Badger, I think, is where he's at 120. I think he wrestled Super 2 at 113. Maybe wrestled 120. I can't remember exactly, but I think he comes down to 13 for the year. I don't know. He might just grown into 120. If he comes to 113, he's a heavy favorite as long as Holland doesn't come down.
And we can always see this as that kids start higher, and then their weight regression can kind of keep going. So we could see him 120 for all of the first half of the season,
almost the whole year. Yeah, you don't have to come down until regionals, really. So.
And so then we could see him cut down there. We'll go to 120 here.
I think if RJ James is at 113 and Holland is not, RJ James is going to win
runs away
by a lot. He's so good on his feet.
Kills
now
113.
120. I went ahead and moved Holland up to 120, even though he won at 113 last year because he was big.
Yeah.
He's kind of a skinnier guy, but he was tall, lanky.
Yeah.
Now the matchup, if R.J. James and Holland are in the same weight, I think R.J. James is marketably better on his feet. And if he's able to dominate on his feet and not go underneath Holland, he wins the matchup. I thought about this matchup a few times. But if Holland is able to get a takedown and get on top, it could be problems for RJ.
Right.
Because RJ's weakness last year at the state tournament, at least, was bottom. He struggled on bottom in the state finals, and that's where it cost him the state finals match, really, more than anything. And Holland is really, really good on top. So, but if Holland goes 120, which I think he will, because, like I said, he looked big at the state tournament last year, I think he's the favorite. He's kind of got the complete package. He's good on his feet, good on bottom, really good on top. But a couple other guys, Walker Bell from West Craven, he was a sophomore last year, regional champ. Impressive. I think he's a guy that could have placed in that 5th-6th range if we would have had wrestlebacks. Raul Hernandez from Bunker Hill got 4th last year. He's someone that I could see really entering that mix as well to challenge Holland. And then Reedsville again.
Yeah.
Jasper Williamson from Reedsville. I think they're really going to put it together. So that's 120. 126, I think, has a pretty clear favorite.
Yeah. David McCreachin.
Yep.
Mount Pleasant, returning runner-up.
Yeah, as a freshman last year.
As a freshman. Behind him, we've got Edwin Pozo from Forbush. Yeah. And then the first Bandy's kid we see back in here.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Levix.
Yes.
He's a hammer. He is really tough. I don't think anyone touches McCreachin this year.
See, I agree. I think he wins. I think Pozo is the biggest threat.
Pozo, not Pozo. My bad.
Well, maybe it's Pozo. I don't know. I'm going to go Pozo. Either way, dude,
who knows?
Had
let us know.
The best scramble of the 2A state tournament last year was him versus Langston Hoffman in the quarters. And Hoffman ultimately won the scramble and won the match. But that was a fun scramble, and I think he really impressed me in that, just with his mat awareness and kind of the skills that he had. I kind of think he moves up. McCreachin was at 120 last year. The only person he lost to at the state tournament was Kyle Monteperto. He looks like he's gotten bigger in the offseason, wrestling 32 a lot. So I don't think he'll make back to 120. I think he's more of a 126, maybe even 32 pounder.
Right. Which might be a good move for him.
I think so. I mean, grow, especially being a freshman, like, you're going to grow a lot, right? Most of the time. I think Joey Levix from Bandy's, that's part of their contingent, right? That's one of their guys that's going to help them kind of become in that title contending round, right?
Back. Yeah.
Yes.
He's going to be the ones that bring them back.
Predicting them to win the state title.
Whoa!
All right. He said it already.
I don't know.
So, but
I need to see him a
little bit more. I would be
more.
interested to see if Pozo or if McCreachin, if they separate, one of them's 126 and one of them's 132, I probably consider them the favorite, no matter who's what. If they flip, I think if they separate weights and one goes 26, one goes 32, I'll probably put them as the favorite each weight.
Yeah. 132, we've only got one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be
Michael Linko? Yeah, from North Johnson. So this weight was one of the weights that kind of got ravaged by the reclassification. A lot of the state placers moved up. A lot of the state qualifiers got reclassified up into 3A. So this weight in particular kind of got a lot of guys moved either graduation or just into the 3A realm. So which adds to the fire of the 3A lower weights.
Man, that's going to be on our next episode.
Next episode, we're going to be talking about a lot. So, but 138 is one of the weights where I'm pretty excited about for this one, because you have David Makeumpson, who state qualifiers a freshman, came in pretty highly touted in that way, and then 6th as a sophomore, 3rd last year. Only loss was to Jacob Cox from South Moran, who's now at 3A, so he doesn't have to deal with him. And then you have coming up from 1A, East Carteret, Shane Hatfield, who got third last year. Yeah. So I'm excited to see Jacobson. I think Jacobson's a tier better, just based off of just what I've seen from him. But I think he definitely is a kid. Hatfield's a kid that can kind of contend a little bit. I don't think it's going to be a major. It might be like a 7-2 or a 9-3 or something like that.
Yep.
But there's a couple kids. William Nix of Bandy's and Caleb Johnson-White from East Burke. Both state qualifiers back from a year ago. Looked really tough at the state tournament. I wish we would have had those wrestlebacks. If we would have had those wrestlebacks, some of these kids that we're mentioning, we wouldn't just be mentioning as state qualifiers. They would have been that 5th, 6th place match. Yeah. So
that's what stinks about last year. But
we'll see.
We're here now.
We'll see if Jacobson can get his title, right? He's been kind of in that tier, title-contending tier for a while.
For sure. 145 is a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
No one touches him. Jeremiah Price, 2-time defending state champ, Surrey Central. No one's going to touch him.
Yeah, and I wrote this in this 2A storylines, which we haven't. It's on the website. We haven't sent it out yet or anything. But Jeremiah Price is the top uncommitted recruit in North Carolina right now. I have number 1 on the big board for his class, the class of 2023. He's that guy. He's the top uncommitted recruit. There's not a recruit that is wanted more right now by college coaches. I can tell you that there's a bunch of college coaches that really have him sights set on whether they've talked to him or not. I don't know. I'm not going to get in the college coach's business, nor am I going to get in Jeremiah Price's business. But he's the top guy that a lot of schools want. He's the top uncommitted recruit. And for me, too, going back a little bit, you're talking about RJ James, right? So Jeremiah Price is like the top uncommitted recruit in our whole state, 1A through 4A.
Yes.
I want to know is RJ James, if he's going to jump that level and become that dude of 2A. Yeah. Like that guy, we're like, whoa, that guy is so good. Kind of come up to that Jeremiah Price tier.
I don't think he does.
I don't think. We'll see.
I think RJ James wins the title at whatever weight he goes this year.
Yeah.
I think that Price is just on a different tier. You know, we talk about it. Avery, different tier than everybody else in 1A. Jeremiah Price, Kyle Monteperto, like just guys like that. Levi Andrews, they're on a different tier.
Yeah.
And I think they're just a different level.
I think RJ James can get there, man. If he improves his bottom skills and gets there. Now, his preseason tournament didn't really show out the way I was hoping to see him on that trajectory, but we'll see. But we all know that Jeremiah Price is that dude, and he's going to continue to show that this year.
Right.
So stepping up, speaking of the Prices, there's another Price.
Yep.
His name is Jacob Price. He was
Is the Price right?
Sorry. Corny dad jokes. But no, he was a casualty of the no wrestlebacks again last year.
Yeah.
Now
a lot of kids were.
A lot of kids were. A little birdie told me he wasn't 100% healthy at the state tournament last year. I don't want to reveal my source on that one. But I know he wasn't himself. And even without being himself, at the regional tournament, he beat the kid soundly that was in the state finals.
Yeah.
So he comes back this year, 152 sophomore. I bet you he wins a state title this year.
Think so?
Yes. I think if he comes back healthy, he's going to win a state title. And the Price family, nicest people, they're going to be ecstatic. His grandma, funniest person in North Carolina wrestling.
You said that before.
Yeah, she is hilarious. She's awesome. Yeah. We got to get her on our show. I'm telling you. On our show, she'll carry it. They'll want the people want me to get off
just a segment
Jeremiah's grandma to be in my place. She's great. Jeremiah and Jacob's grandma in my place, but I think he wins this year, sophomore.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's
and
around
Price
him.
brothers win those state titles together.
I don't think anybody's around him. But going up to 160, the leader of bandies this year, I would say.
Yes, 100%.
Easily. Caleb Moore.
Yeah, what a state tournament this kid had last year, right?
Yes.
First round, you're like, oh man, this is a match. Caleb Moore versus David Varner. Varner placed third the year before. Only had one loss.
Moore came out ready to scrap,
and he beat Varner first round, and then he runs through. The only loss he took to was I'm pretty sure it was Aiden Curry was the only loss he had at the state tournament last year. So he's coming in this year a heavy favorite.
Yeah,
this is the guy for Bandies. This is the leader of the new era Bandies. The state title pick of
Get me excited. You're getting me excited, all right. But behind him, Braden Guess, Bunker Hill.
Yeah, really solid kid.
Really solid kid. I don't know if it's a runaway here.
No, I think
Caleb is better, but I think he's 2 or 3 points better.
Yeah.
I don't think we're looking at a major. I think we're looking at 5-2.
I think we're going to get this one a couple times this year, too.
Yeah.
Their schools aren't
pretty close to each other. So we're going to bump up to 170 here.
And speaking of runaway, here's another Mount Pleasant kid. This is why I'm picking them to win again, tournament-wise, because they have so many of these studs here, right? So Mount Pleasant...
I just have a feeling Bandies has some kids that we don't know about.
That
they're going to sneak in, they're going to upset some people. But we're going to go ahead to 170.
Kyler Pickard, Mount Pleasant... I mean, he was in on Brady Ross's leg with the winning takedown. Now, I will preface it. I think Brady Ross kind of let Pickard to his legs there to be able to scramble and just kill time because he knew he wasn't going to be taken down like that. But Pickard's really good on his feet. He's another dark horse kid from that club. So I think he's a very heavy favorite, been very active this offseason. You have Jason Rodriguez Jr. from Southwest Onslow, who did really well last year as well, and Brooks Freeman from Providence Grove. Those are kind of going to be the challengers as far as state qualifiers go.
Yeah.
But I think Pickard is kind of a heavy favorite. Wouldn't be surprised to see him kind of bonus his way through with like a major in the state finals type deal.
Up to 1A-2, got Raheem Jones from North Pitt. 5th place, injury his sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
State qualifiers junior year. I'm going to go ahead and say that he was a tragedy of no wrestlebacks.
He in the quarters wrestled Landon 4.
Yeah,
and that was kind of the match I wanted for Landon 4 for 2 years. Was because I thought Raheem kind of presented some matchup problems. I still thought 4 was going to win, and he did comfortably, but. Raheem does present those. So I think, I know Coach Chris Young from North Pitt just really likes this kid a lot. Been singing his praises since his freshman year, and I was really impressed they placed at 1A-2 as a freshman 5th, right? And just, since then it hasn't injury and then COVID and hasn't been able to put it together. I think this is his year. But there's another Bandies kid.
Another
Rat Hoy fantasy team Bandies kid here.
Matthew Canfield.
Now, he did come in the last year to the state tournament with a losing record, but he did pretty well at the state tournament as far as like coming in better than what you would expect. And so it's someone who qualified as a young kid at upper weight.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see a big jump out of him this year.
I agree. Raheem's just he's a stud.
He is a stud. I like his style too.
I think we see that final of Jones and Canfield unless someone just really emerges that just pops up out of nowhere. 195 though, another Bandies kid.
Yep.
Made the state tournament as a freshman at 195 and 2A.
Yeah, impressive, right? Anytime freshmen make the state tournament above
really tough
145, it's really impressive.
Yeah. Zachary Evans.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see him. I think he could be behind Caleb Moore. I think he could be their guy. I think he could be a leader, and especially taking Bandies back into where they used to be as a program. Right? I think he's a guy they're kind of building around him. They built around Caleb Moore. But behind him, Newton Conover.
Yes.
Which
Owen Clark, he got third.
We haven't talked about a lot.
Yeah, this is their number. In the beginning of the show, I was saying they only have one returning state qualifier, and it's Owen.
Yeah.
And he had one loss last year at the state tournament.
So what are they hiding up their sleeve?
Yeah, they got a...
What do the coaches know that we don't?
They got a ton of stud freshmen coming in or something.
Maybe the coaches know something we don't. They're always they're always well coached.
Oh, it's so good. Just Eddie Clark does a great job. Coach Clark does a great job. And Owen, 1 loss last year, 3rd place at the state tournament. I could see him at 95. We also could see him at 220. I kind of think he's going to move up to 220.
I don't think that's the right move for him.
I kind of hope so, though. Let me tell you
I want to see it. I don't think it's the right move.
220, if he stays, let me preface this before I go into that. If Owen Clark stays 195, he's the title favorite over Evans, in my opinion. Now, Evans could be making bigger jumps because he's younger, but Clark is just a junior. He was a sophomore. He got 3rd last year at a bigger weight last year. So I think that's going to be a good one there. And Bandy's Newton Conover isn't far from each other, so maybe we get that. But this is the reason I want Owen Clark to move on up. And it's purely selfish because Chase Creighton wrestled his brother Cole Clark in the state semis last year, and there was some heat in that matchup. I don't feel like it was between Creighton and Clark as far as the two individuals, but just the way the match played out between the fan bases and between the coaching staffs, just like the match got heated the way it was playing out.
Yes.
And so, hey, let's run it back a little bit. I don't mind a little bit of just getting the crowd into it. So I think it creates a little bit of a better matchup. As far as I want more elite kids to hit each other versus them being apart, but. If Clark goes 95, I'll take him to win the bracket.
If he goes 220.
220.
He doesn't touch Creighton.
Yeah, no, I think Creighton's a good favorite.
Chase Creighton, Mount Pleasant, 2-time defending state champ.
Yeah, and still proud of him for what he did. Super 32, wrestling playing football the night before and then wrestling the next day. Wild.
And had a good little run. Wrestled well.
So how many 2-time state champs do we talk about? And when I say we, I don't mean you and I, because I think we do talk about. But I mean in the general North Carolina wrestling community, I think Chase Creighton's kind of underrated or undervalued.
Yes,
undervalued would
especially
be probably better.
Yeah,
a better term because. If he wins a 3rd title this year, there's not many 3-time state champs walking around, right?
No.
We haven't had a glutton of 3-time state champs. He's undervalued and not utilized as much in that conversation of our top kids right now.
Well, see, it's tough because he's up there at 220, and at 195, 220 in the state, we've got Carson Floyd.
Yep.
Sakari.
Yes.
Right. We've got Kyle Fink. We've got Cage Williams. Sorry, Kyle's at 182 this year. That's weird still to say, but
Cage Williams.
We've got some monsters.
Yes. Last year was Tristan Norris.
Yeah, and Tristan Norris was there last year, and I think that Creighton's just kind of been chipping away down here, doing his work. And this year, I think it's his time to shine. I think this is his spotlight year. I think he comes away 3-timer, even if Clark comes up.
I do too.
I don't think anyone touches him.
He's going to be the favorite for sure. I think he's got the right mentality. I know he's fired up, ready for wrestling season. So
yeah.
And then stepping up to 285, Wes Wilkes, Alex Rowland, runner-up last year.
Yeah.
Lost to Ryan Walker from Newton Conover.
Now at UNCP.
Yep. So he's kind of a heavy favorite for the 2A classification at heavyweight. I don't really see anybody even.
No.
Getting close. Now, this 2A is interesting to me for a couple of reasons. One, because Mount Pleasant kind of surprised us a little bit at the state tournament last year, right?
Yeah, we slept on them last year, but
they're not going to creep up last year. So now we're really talking about who's going to come and challenge them. Is it going to be Bandy's, Rhett Hoy's pick? Is it going to be West Lincoln? Is it going to be Newton Conover? Newton Conover pulling something out of their sleeve. It's going to be my dark horses in Reedsville, who I think they got the most potential growth. Who's going to come up and challenge Mount Pleasant for this title?
I'm just looking at the returners and guys that we're talking about, and I just have to say the dual team rankings might be right. As in 1 Pleasant, 1 Mount Pleasant, 2 Bandies. I would say Reedsville at 3. After what we're looking at, Newton Conover, West Lincoln. Yeah. Unless we just have, West Lincoln and Newton Conover must just have some guys that we don't know about.
Yeah.
That they're just kind of creeping in.
West Lincoln always does.
Yes, West Lincoln is all.
And Newton Conover.
And that's the thing. And that is one thing about West Lincoln and Newton Conover, and especially in this new 2A, right? 2A's kind of moved out. A lot of the hammers and a lot of, the prestigious programs. Don't get me wrong. Bandy's, West Lincoln, Newton Conover, Mount Pleasant now, defending state champ. Those are solid programs in the state. Okay, West Lincoln and Newton Conover historically have always been solid. But 2A's got a new look. Right?
Yeah, that's the other interesting piece for me.
Who is going to be the team now in 2A? And I think we're going to see a race between Mount Pleasant and Bandy's to see who takes it.
Well, that's the other interesting thing for me, like you were mentioning, is that a lot of the top teams from 2A have moved up to 3A as far as like the past 2 seasons or so.
Yeah.
So who's going to emerge now as these top contending programs? Who's going to make that next jump? That's why it's interesting to me. And the other thing, like underlying kind of on that same theme, is who's going to be the new kings of the East?
Yeah.
Croatan has run the 2A East for a long time. Now I know the past couple of years they haven't been as up to their normal standards as they usually are, but Croatan is 3A. Dixon is 3A. First Flight and Currituck are now 3A.
Yeah.
If you look...
Who sets up and takes it from the East?
And if you look at those tournament team rankings, Bandy's, West Lincoln, they're West schools in the West, or Midwest and West, and then Reedsville's a Mid-East school, and then Newton Conover is a West, and Mount Pleasant is from the West. So who's going to step up from the East? Is it going to be Southwest Onslow? Are they going to be the new kings of the East? Is it going to be North Pitt? Are they going to be the new kings of the East in 2A? Who is going to take the reins and run with it? I'm excited to see that 2A East region,
that picture,
and how it develops. It's going to be Northeastern with Coach Lorenzo King.
Yeah.
I've been seeing him do awesome stuff with like interviews and social media with his team. But as his team then kind of emerge as a new team to be, I don't know. I'm excited to see some of these other teams kind of fighting for the top of the 2A range or the 2A East range. So
I think we can both agree 1A is going to be Avery.
Yeah.
1A, like we said, it's Avery's team title to lose and Robbinsville's title to take. 2A,
I'm going to take the defending state champs.
You're going to take Mount Pleasant until proven otherwise.
With Reedsville.
And as of right now, I would say Mount Pleasant has it right now. And I think that Bandy's slept on. And I think I have slept on Bandy's last year. I think we both have. And I think this year Bandy's is going to shock a lot of people in the state. I think Bandy's could and might prevail as a state championship team this year.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with Mount Pleasant.
But looking at it, Mount Pleasant just has so many studs.
It's going to be fun.
And here's the thing, they've got state champs.
Yeah.
Right, like they've got guys that are
3 state finals in their lineup right now.
Yes, they've got finalists right now, guys that are favored for a state title right now, and that's where it's going to get tough for Bandy's. Bandy's is going to have to take in these weights that they have. I think 126 is going to be big for them. I don't think Levick speaks McCreechan, but he's got a place there for Bandy's to have a shot.
Yeah.
Nick's at 138.
Here's the thing that helps Bandy's out now to help you with to make the argument for Bandy's.
Yeah.
Is that it's not as flooded or deep right now with all these returning state placers, right, or all these returning state finalists because of their reclassification. So there's more room for them to gain points, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they brought a state qualified guy and it's going to be hard for them to crack the top 5. It's pretty wide open. Every weight's pretty wide open. Every weight's kind of have like a clear 1 or 2, but I feel like all the weights we talked about, after the top 1 or 2, spots 3 through 6, 3 through 8, where you're going to score some good points at the state tournament, pretty open. So it could run out some guys that are going to be all placing in that 5th, 6th range. You're going to score some good points. So
Bandy's 2A state champs, book it.
I told you it was going
book
there.
It.
I could see it in his eyes at the beginning of this episode.
Book it.
Oh,
it might be crazy.
Man,
that's what I'm going with. That's what we're going to end it with.
Yeah, 1A, 2A, super fun. Can't wait to talk about 3A, 4A in our next episode.
Yes.
Before we go, shout out to local programs.
Yes.
East Henderson High School, West Henderson High School.
Yeah.
Repping those for you guys. Always support our local programs. Excited for their season to get kicked off.
Yeah.
Excited for competition.
You can always send us shirts. We'd love to rep it.
Anybody wants to send a shirt, we'll wear it on the show.
We would love to. We want to represent our North Carolina programs, especially ones that we believe are doing it the right way and have great people at the helms. And, you know, we want to support NC. So can't wait to see you guys again for 3A, 4A. Go check out SEWrestle.com for the 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A storylines. And also go check out the preseason team rankings for your top 10 rankings.
By the coaches, man. Check it out. All top 10. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We're out.